back to Guitar Toots by Al. I'm Al Gustin, and it's good to be with you again. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play that C major scale that I just played on the guitar for you. But before we do that, I need to take some time to teach you some basics about music notation and how to read some sheet music. The blog post that you visited that contained the link to this video also contained a piece of sheet music, and it was a song called Jesus Loves Me, and it is in the key of C, 4/4 time. It's one of the simplest songs ever written, and we're going to learn how to play that song. But before we do that, and before we get into the C major scale, I'm going to teach you some things about music notation and the elements that you'll find on a piece of sheet music. I'm going to switch to a graphic view, and I'm going to narrate over the graphics as we learn about how to read sheet music.
Here again is the lead sheet for the song Jesus Loves Me. If you already know how to read sheet music, then I suggest you move ahead to the next lesson. But for the absolute beginner, this lesson is very important and is fundamental to learning how to understand sheet music, which provides the notes we play on the guitar. Musical notation is really a time-pitch graph. If you don't understand what that means, don't worry. To put it differently, musical notation contained in the song that you see here tells us which notes to play, when to play them, and how long each note sounds. If you notice, there are 5 lines which are called a staff. Each staff line and the spaces in between represents different notes that are played on the guitar. The higher up on the staff the note is, the higher the pitch of the note is. This graphic shows every note on the guitar, from low E on the 6th string to a much higher E that is played on the 1st string at the 12th fret. Here's another graphic that shows all the notes that can be played on the guitar fingerboard up to the 12th fret. I'm going to offer all these graphics in a PDF file that you can download at the end of this lesson. The staff is divided into segments called measures. Each measure represents a certain amount of time, depending on the tempo of the song and the time signature. The tempo of a song is not always indicated on a lead sheet, but when it is, you might see something like this. This indicates that this song's tempo is at 80 beats per minute. We're not going to pay too much attention to tempo at this point because when we're first beginning guitar, we tend to play slowly because, well, that's the ability level we're at. Later on, when we use the metronome as we play along, we'll pay more attention to tempo. This is what's known as the grand staff. The grand staff is used for piano music, and guitar players will rarely ever see music written on the grand staff. The grand staff contains 2 separate staffs, or staves, each representing a different range of notes on the piano. The treble clef represents notes or pitches in a higher range, while the bass clef represents notes or pitches in a lower range. Lead sheets are almost always written in the treble clef. The treble clef represents a range of pitch that includes the guitar and voice, and so a melody can be performed by both a singer and a guitar player. Note also the chord symbols above the staff, which tell a rhythm guitar player which chords to play in the song, and underneath the staff are the lyrics for the singers to know which words to sing during the song. This is what makes lead sheets so useful and popular among people who play in bands or on worship teams. Here are 4 measures of musical notation on the treble clef in 4/4 time. Notice first the treble clef on the left, followed by the time signature, which is, in this example, 4/4. The 2 numbers of the time signature tell us about the timing and rhythmic aspects of the notation. The upper number tells us that each measure gets 4 beats. The lower number tells us that each quarter note gets 1 beat. This is probably the most common time signature in modern music. Other time signatures such as 3/4 time, 2/4 time, and 6/8 time will be discussed in a later lesson. Looking once again at our 4-measure example, we see that each measure contains a note or series of notes that are different. The first measure contains a whole note. The whole note gets played on the first beat of the measure and stops after 4 beats. The length or duration of the note is 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 2 contains 2 half notes. Each half note lasts or has a duration of 2 beats. The first half note is played on the first beat of the measure, and the second note is played on the third beat of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 3 contains 4 quarter notes. This is where the time signature becomes very clear. Each of these quarter notes gets 1 beat, and each note duration is 1 beat. The first quarter note is played on the first beat of the measure, and the other notes are played on each beat after that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look again at this 4-measure C major scale. You'll notice that the notes kind of form a ramp going up and going down. We call this an ascending, descending scale. Ascending means going up, while descending means going down. Remember that I told you the musical staff is based on a pitch time graph, with pitch represented vertically and time represented horizontally. So as the notes appear higher up on the staff, the pitch also gets higher. This becomes clear once we begin to play the C major scale. First, let me show you graphically while we follow along. You'll notice that I'm playing each note on a rhythmic beat pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now I'd like to show you how to play that C major scale on the guitar. We start with the lower C note, which is played on the 5th string at the 3rd fret. The next note is D, which we play on the 4th string, open. The next note is E, played on the 4th string, 2nd fret. The next note is F, played on the 4th string, 3rd fret. The next note is G, played on the 3rd string, open. The next note is A, played on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. The next note is B, played on the 2nd string, open. The next note is C, played on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Let's play the ascending part of the C major scale as I just showed you. Very slowly. Good. Now, to play the descending portion of the C major scale, we start at the higher C on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and go backwards. Let's put that all together. I'm going to go very, very slowly, and I'm going to count so that you can play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Practice that until you can play it at about this speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's it for this lesson. That was a lot of information, and I hope you'll watch the video over and over again and get it down. Learn how to play that ascending, descending C major scale. Learn how to play Jesus Loves Me.
and just keep practicing. I know your fingers are going to be sore for a while, but just work through it. And once you build those calluses up, you'll be able to play for hours and it won't bother you. Anyway, I hope to be able to post a WAV file of an accompaniment track to Jesus Loves Me. That way you can have some rhythm and some background chords to play along with, and it makes it a little more fun. Anyway, look for that in the next coming days, and until then, just keep practicing. And I've had a great time teaching you during this tutorial. I'll hope you come back for the next one. Until then, take care and keep playing.